Welcome everyone to this August 26th edition of What's Happening in Crypto with Lark, broadcasting to you from New Zealand and bringing you all of the latest from the crypto world and beyond. Today's top stories: Tom Lee sees Bitcoin at $60,000. US politicians defend the Bitcoin mining industry. Bitcoin Cash eyeing up a hard fork. And you'll never guess what the tech overlords are censoring now. Bitcoin is worth 1 Bitcoin today. Although the altcoins in relation to Bitcoin are seeing a lot of red. A few outliers here, of course, but it seems that a lot of the money is continuing to flow to Bitcoin and out of a lot of the altcoins. Tom Lee sees Bitcoin at $60,000. It is simply a question of when, not if, it is going to happen. Of course, that is nearly 10x over the current dollar value on Bitcoin. He's still eyeing up the $20,000 by the end of the year, which is very easily possible considering the runs that we have seen in the past on Bitcoin. $60,000, that is not the end price for Bitcoin. And in fact, in 10 years' time, I feel like we're going to be looking back and going, $60,000 Bitcoin. Wow, that's cheap. I wish I could buy some Bitcoin at $60,000 again. It's all a question of time and perspective. U.S. Senator warns that closing Montana coal plant will hurt the Bitcoin mining industry. Now look, politicians have a reputation for coming out and defending local industry. Don't shut down our Ferris wheels. That's a Montana industry, or whatever it might be. Lots of love for Montana, of course. However, it would be nice to see that coal plant actually be shut down, and we can replace it with some nice green energy, for example. I'm sure that Montana has lots of rivers that might, for example, have hydro capacity. But it is very interesting to see a politician coming out defending the Bitcoin mining industry. Maybe a first there, without a doubt. Hydroelectric dam over in New York will be restored and dedicated to crypto mining. This is a much more positive development than keeping a coal plant open. And yes, I know there's a lot of clean coal tech, but I think that this is a stronger move in the right direction, having Hydroelectric running the Bitcoin mining industry. Over in Japan, Japan's internet giant GMO has stopped mining Bitcoin Cash. Now, that's quite an interesting development because they have a lot of machines up and running, but they are only mining Bitcoin now. That, of course, a worrying trend for the overall hash rate of the Bitcoin Cash network. And with some other news that's coming up is perhaps even more worrying. Although I did like this one quote here at the end from the CEO of GMO Internet. He was quoted as saying that he respects Bitmain, but that he will top them with GMO's offering. It's on, Jihan. It's on. Watch out. GMO Internet is coming for you, amongst many others. I'm so encouraged by all of the competition that we are seeing right now in the hardware industry. And it's only going to get bigger as more and more players come on board. And a lot of companies, really, really big companies, have come out announcing that they're getting involved in the Bitcoin mining game. It's going to be big, and it's a good thing for the industry because Bitmain has been too powerful for too long. Speaking of Bitcoin Cash, unfortunately, it seems like we might be seeing a split in the community once again. Unfortunately, this is not so surprising. We do have a group of community leaders who the way that they solve differences is by splitting the community and going off and hard forking and starting their own thing. And hey, that is all gravy. All Bitcoin Cash holders will be looking to get an airdrop from the Craig Wright coin that is coming up. But it is Craig who is apparently pushing for this split. And I think it's a really unfortunate thing and a good thing at the same time for the Bitcoin Cash community, because if they can get rid of Craig Wright, that is a great thing for the Bitcoin Cash community. Jihan and Roger, for all of their whatever you want to say about them, are pretty good representatives for the Bitcoin Cash community. Craig should be ostracized and just let him go off and fork and do his own thing and take whoever he wants with them. However, the problem is that he's also going to take hash rate with him, which is going to not be good for the security of Bitcoin Cash. And he's going to take very valuable community members from an already fragile and battered Bitcoin Cash community with him. Developers in the Bitcoin Cash community also disagree with basically both of those sides, and we could really see a descent into madness here as Craig might fork off. Perhaps, and the developers haven't actually stated that they're looking to do a fork at this point, but the developers might fork off as well if they don't agree with the direction that Jihan and Roger want Bitcoin Cash to go in. So unfortunate times for the Bitcoin Cash community, but it is a good opportunity to rid themselves of Craig Wright. A crypto card game is testing Magic's records, and it hasn't even launched yet. Now, Magic the Gathering, there is a very famous card called the Black Lotus. Recently, an early version of that card sold for over $87,000. Oh my God. Lessons in hodling, guys. When I was a teenager, I literally had a Black Lotus card and actually traded it for some Star Wars collectible cards. Lessons in hodling, man. Look at that. Wow, $87,000. Anyway, besides the point, a new crypto trading card game based on the Ethereum blockchain called Gods Unchained. A card has sold for 146 Ethereum. That's crazy. Of course, people were buying crypto kitties for $100,000 plus, and people have bought the digital rose for $1 million. I know there's a lot of crypto investors out there that have a lot of money to throw around, but wowzers, that's crazy indeed. Over in Iran, state-backed crypto draft is ready. Central bank to soon announce stance on crypto. Now, with the ongoing U.S. sanctions against Iran, this could be a worrying trend because if a lot of Bitcoin to Iranian crypto transactions start happening, that could potentially put Bitcoin in violation of U.S. sanctions. I could easily see that kind of jump being made, but thankfully we have senators out there who will defend the Bitcoin mining industry and hopefully not blame Bitcoin for any of this. But this would be a great tool for the citizens of Iran, but of course, I don't like that it's being launched by the Iranian central bank. I don't really have a lot of excitement about central bank launched cryptos by any means, but it is something that is going to be happening. Now, in other Iran news, all of the big social media platforms have been working on more censorship. And I keep covering these stories because it's important. It's important to know that the censorship is here and it's only heating up. More and more political commentators from the left and the right are being censored. More and more news outlets that tell the truth about war, for example, are being censored. Now, we've had some Iranian social media pages being censored on Facebook and Twitter, for example. And it's hilarious when you actually look at why these pages were removed. Now, a very big page was removed. It had 813,000 followers on their Facebook page, which is a substantial community. Their crime, sharing political content about the Middle East, the UK, and the US. In total, all of the banned Iranian groups spent $12,000 in advertising and hosted 28 different events. That says that, of course, it's all deeply hypocritical BS, but on the face of it, the official story is that U.S. democratic institutions are so incredibly weak that $12,000 worth of memes can take them down, that's a threat to American democracy, which is, of course, ludicrous. Now, Facebook has farther said we will be closely working with U.S. law enforcement on this investigation. Facebook's not your friend. Facebook is in bed with the government. In fact, they have a meeting with the Atlantic Council, which, amongst other people, has like Henry Kissinger sitting on the board. They're not working for you. And I know I'm on Facebook still. I post my videos over on Facebook. I kind of look at it like people are over there and they need to hear the message. And so I keep posting my videos over on Facebook. But you have to start checking in to the decentralized alternatives, the censorship resistant alternatives, because it's getting serious. Now, the objective of these groups to hijack the political conversation to promote anti-Israeli, anti-Saudi, and pro-Palestinian themes, and Tehran's interests around the globe, including U.S. policies favorable to Iran, such as the nuclear deal. So they want to have a nuclear deal where everyone can live in peace. Obviously, that was the previous deal, which was thrown out. They are censoring pro-Palestinian voices, and it's not just Iranian pro-Palestinian voices. I think that's important to point out, but student groups at universities, even in the US, are being censored. That's something to keep in mind. Anti-Israeli, and that's not an anti-Jewish thing. I think that's really important to point out because that's what's often brought out in the conversation, but being anti-Israeli government, that's a very, very different situation, just like being anti-Saudi government. In fact, government seems to be the key problem, and that is part of the reason why we have cryptocurrencies, why Bitcoin was invented, to take the power away from these governments which are not representing you. Now, I have to share with you what are these incredibly dangerous memes that are so dangerous to democracy that they have to be removed from the internet. They have to be taken off Twitter. They have to be taken off Facebook. Michelle Obama holding an immigrant took my job sign. That made them take the page down. We have here a Palestinian activist, a picture of him, and then a picture of a cartoon of him. This is why they're closing accounts. It's ridiculous. In fact, it gets even better. Look at this, the nuke book. I love this, actually. This is a picture of Donald Trump, ready to kiss Kim Jong-un. That's funny, man. But they don't see it like that. Any of this anti-government narrative that they don't control, they just shut it down. And it's that thing. You don't see what you don't see. And with all these voices cut out, for memes at that, highly problematic. Get over on Steemit. If you don't have a Steam account yet, sign up for one. Steemit's not the best platform out there, and DTube is not the best platform out there, but they're a heck of a lot better than the censored alternatives. We have BitChute, we have BitTube, we have lots of different new social networks that are coming on board. We have Minds. You can go over to Minds, get signed up to Minds. It's going to be running on Ethereum here. In fact, I think they've just launched their Ethereum-based tokens recently. There are lots of alternatives for you. I've got links for most of those down below, but there's lots of others out there too that are up and coming, and a lot of new blockchain alternatives are being explored because this is ridiculous. They're shutting down accounts for memes, guys, saying that memes are dangerous to democracy. This is very dangerous to our democracy. You need to be protected. Anyway, we're going to finish on a slightly lighter note. I did find a new crypto artist out there. This lady's name is Josie, making some fun art. This is a cool Monero painting. Now, these are prints that you can get if you want to go ahead and grab them, but nevertheless, some pretty cool stuff here. I quite like the Ethereum one down the end here. It's pretty crazy. Thanks so much for watching today's episode. Let me know what you think about any of the stories down below in the comment section. Thumbs up the video and share these videos around the internet to help our community grow. Join the conversation over on Twitter or Telegram or DTube or Minds or any of the other places where we are posting these videos. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.